The Jeff Gabriel Connection.
Hey, Peter, how are you? We have Peter Shankman here today. Welcome to the show. How you doing, Peter?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here with the Jeff Gabriel Connection. You know, I've been doing a little research and studying and reading on you, and I feel like I know you. And in my mind, I call you the everything man because you can do so many different things and you can exude so much energy and keep that energy up while you're going through all these tasks. And I really, really admire that. You are an accomplished skydiver. You're an ADHD expert and purveyor of wisdom surrounding ADHD. You're a social media consultant to many startups and major corps. You're a 5-time author, Faster Than Normal. It really, really interests me. You're a podcaster, and the list just goes on and on. You also have you help entrepreneurs, an incubator website, and you also have helped journalists with Haru's site as well, another startup of yours. My question is this all fueled by not just your interest, but the ADHD? Could you elaborate a little bit on that?
So I look at it along the lines of my ADHD has helped me in every facet of my life once I understood what it was and how to use it. Growing up in the 70s and 80s in New York City public schools, ADHD didn't exist. What existed was sit down, you're disrupting the class disease. And as I get older, I realized that my brain was very different than other people. I spent way too much time talking out of turn. I had the social acuity of a lamp. I was not a very popular kid. I didn't have many friends. I just didn't really know how to be human. And what I realized over time was that everything that I was doing that everyone thought was weird was actually because of my ADHD, and I was learning how to live my life with my ADHD. And at that point, when I realized that it could actually be a benefit, and I stopped caring what people thought, everything changed. So my success, I've started and sold 3 companies. Most recently, Harrow, as you noted, which changed how journalists and sources found each other, and fundamentally changed how journalists found sources around the world. It was acquired by Pure Newswire, and for me, coming up with an idea for a company and launching it the next day, normal people don't do that, right? The concept of hey, this sounds like a fun idea, let's see what happens, is not something that most people do. Most people, well, let's sit down, let's research it, let's do our homework. I'm just like, no, let's just start, right, with the premise that it'll either succeed or it'll fail, but either way, I'm doing something. And I think that is a hallmark of people with ADHD and with any sort of neurodiverse brain, is that they are constantly looking for that next exciting thing to keep them occupied, to give them that dopamine fuel, that adrenaline, that endorphin rush, that serotonin. It's not a coincidence that the 2 things I do most frequently are skydive and compete in triathlons. I'm doing my 3rd Ironman this coming October in Kona, the World Championships, because being on a course for 17 hours, swimming, biking, and running, that high will last for 3 weeks, right? A month, and there's nothing like it. Same thing with skydiving. You have 45 seconds of free fall. Your life is never more clear. I have 2 choices. I can open the parachute and live, or I can not open the parachute and die. That's it. There's no other choice. And
right,
that kind of freedom is very rare.
Yeah. It's interesting. I'm listening to you and I'm hearing so many similarities. So I'm even horrified that I have a severe case of ADHD and have never been, documented, or I just have some similarities to you. One of them being, when I started some of my early business ventures, I would just jump in. I got excited and didn't really get into the nitty gritty and the details. That sort of started later in life as I had a couple of failures. I also fly, I ski, but I also fly helicopters, which is a little bit of a similarity of the thrill of the skydiving. I guess on the ADHD side, can you help people if they haven't been diagnosed, to assist them in seeing how they might be able to see this in themselves and how to see it as a benefit? Because I think a lot of people, I'll just give you one more example for me, and then I'm going to jump back to you. I have always had a difficulty focusing. It's been a very, very hard thing. And I have little tricks and little things that I do that get me to focus. And I think it's some borderline of what you're talking about. It's really interesting to talk to you about this. Can you share a little bit about how people might recognize it and be able to assist themselves in dealing with it?
Yeah, one of the first things I can tell you is that this is probably the only time today that I'll actually sit down. right? I have all my meetings are standing meetings or walking meetings. I've been called Aaron Sorkin a lot because I tend to do walk and talks, right? And I prefer those when you're meeting with people and you're outside, you're getting fresh air. You know, in the era of COVID, it's been great not to have to go to offices, right? And so, but I still want to meet people and see them in person, so we meet outside. And you know, on some days I might do 4 or 5 meetings all outdoors. I'll walk, you know, upwards of 15, 20 miles in a day, but it's great because I'm getting exercise, and the exercise is what gives you the dopamine hit that allows you to focus. Anyone with ADHD essentially has a very, very fast brain, and more than likely doesn't know how to drive it, right? And so learning how to drive that faster brain was the game changer for me.
The Jeff Gabriel Connection.